Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. This is the Friday edition of the Carolina Weather Video here for this January 29th. All eyes on our impending winter storm as it continues to march toward our area. This is the radar shot from a little bit after 8 o'clock this morning. And boy, this is a moisture-packed system. Really juicy conditions. And you get north of a line roughly like that, and it's all wintry precip. And I will say, one concern, as is oftentimes the case that you have to be concerned about with these types of systems, is this convection down here around the Gulf of Mexico. Now, with the overall setup of this system, I don't imagine that that's going to be a huge problem. But what can happen is if you get a lot of convection down here in the Gulf, it can sort of rob that transport of moisture up into our area. And I'll show you why I don't think it's going to be, or likely shouldn't be, a huge problem this time around. We're just now seeing the big 500 millibar low pushing into West Texas. And notice that convection sort of parallel to the overall upper level flow. And as long as we don't see that sort of racing way out ahead of the main line and turning more west to east, I think it'll be okay in terms of not inhibiting much of the moisture transport up in the region. But that is a big caveat to the forecast, is assuming we don't get our tap of Gulf of Mexico moisture disturbed. Temperatures, it looks like the cold air is going to move in as expected. This is really cold, dry air up in the New England states, and unlike we oftentimes see with storm systems pulling in, the air mass is only going to get colder and colder as the event unfolds and we head into the day tomorrow as well. So a fresh supply of cold, dry air will continue to feed into the areas receiving precipitation with this system. So let's go to the NAM. I just shows you to show the NAM model. I think it's overall doing as good a job as most anything else with this system. This is 1 o'clock this afternoon, and you're looking at the main surface low on the NAM down here near the Louisiana and Texas border. And again, if you're new to watching the video, this blue line, that is the freezing line up at about 5,000 feet. That is certainly not a be-all, end-all, but it's a good starting point oftentimes for figuring out, in this case, the difference between all snow and some type of wintry mix. So let's follow this on out. This is 7 p.m., and there we are, 1 a.m. That's the precip between 7 a.m. and 1 a.m. That is the precipitation spreading into our region. I think we'll stay dry through the day today, maybe a renegade sprinkle or snowflake, but the bulk of the significant precipitation begins to move in this evening, and it really settles in as we get into the night tonight. This is 7 a.m., the precip between 1 a.m., 7 a.m. Surface low in extreme southeastern Alabama, that freezing line at 5,000 feet bisecting North Carolina, and then it sort of eases southward as we get into the day tomorrow. And that's the precip between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. and finally 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. tomorrow on Saturday. Notice this is a very slow-moving system. The moisture, the precipitation will wind up lingering, I think, a good bit of the day tomorrow, maybe even on into tomorrow evening. This is 7 p.m. Saturday to 1 a.m. Sunday's precip. So still some lingering precip around the area before everything finally pulls out tomorrow night. So with that said, I really don't have any huge changes to my overall ideas. Let me show you take these with a big grain of salt, but let me show you a couple of the model charts in terms of forecast snow accumulation. This is off of the 6C run of the GFS, and indicating very healthy snow event for North Carolina. Now note, again, this is just snow and some sleet. It's not really showing you the freezing rain areas, which would be to the south of that snow area. And here is the NAM. And really, the NAM is in pretty good agreement with what I'm going with in my snowfall accumulation forecast. So let me show you that. And this is the general idea that I'm going with. No huge changes from yesterday. I did beef up some of the totals in a couple spots, but we'll say here from the triad itself and then on up north and west from there into the southern Virginia area. This looks like a widespread 7 to 12 inch snow event. There could be some locally higher event totals with that. And then the farther south you go, the more there is the tendency for sleet to become involved at some point late tonight into portions of tomorrow. And the more sleet is involved, the less actual accumulation you have on the ground. Sleet does not accumulate nearly as efficiently as snow, and so the more sleet that is involved, the less total accumulation. So I've gone for the immediate Charlotte area with a general 3 to 6 inch accumulation. And then when you get north and northwest of Charlotte, say when you get into parts of Lincoln, Cleveland, northern Gaston, and Iredell, Rowan counties, I painted that into a widespread 5 to 10 inch accumulation area. For Raleigh-Durham, sort of similar to the Triad, from Durham and probably Raleigh as well even. You could probably paint that blue a little farther south. From there and points north, this looks like a very healthy snow event. The farther south you go, the more sleet gets involved. Now, in the red shaded area, the Sandhills region down into parts of South Carolina, I still think this has the potential to be a pretty damaging ice storm. Sleet and freezing rain accumulation maybe in excess of a half inch or maybe even an inch in some extreme cases. That would be a very bad situation. And by the way, this snow accumulation mixing with some sleet extends all the way over to the northern coastal plain as well. And down into the upstate of South Carolina, you could adjust these areas as necessary. I'll put the upstate in the 3 to 6 inch category, but it could very easily be in some of those higher areas depending on how things unfold. So that's how things look this morning. I'll keep adjusting ideas as necessary today, but that's how it looks. Hasn't been any huge swings in the modeling. Everything holding kind of steady here, so I get the idea this is how it's going to pan out. It's just simply going to be a matter of how much sleet mixes in for the I-85 corridor. That'll have a great determination on that precipitation event around Charlotte down to the end of the upstate. It looks more set in stone overall for the Triad and points north. The only concern there would be the moisture transport being interrupted from Gulf of Mexico convection. So still some uncertainty out there, but that's the ideas I'm going with this morning. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Let me mention this before I wrap it up. I got excited to start wrapping it up too early again. It's going to get very cold behind this system, probably some single digits in some spots Monday morning, low teens Sunday morning, and you need to be prepared. Travel is going to become difficult, if not very difficult, then impossible tonight into tomorrow. And probably travel will be very, very tough all weekend long. So you need to be prepared, probably to just plan on not traveling. But if you absolutely have to travel, take supplies with you in the event you get stranded. Also, there'll probably be some power outages around the region in certain spots. So you need to have a few days worth of supplies in your home in case you lose power, some food, some water, a way to stay warm. So you need to make these preparations today before this preset moves in tonight. All right, that's it for today's edition of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and God bless.